Hi friends, welcome you all. In the last lecture, we were discussing about foreign direct investment in NBFCs in India. Today, I am going to discuss with you the foreign loans in NBFCs in India. So, detail about that we are going to study. Before that, yesterday in the last lecture, we were discussing about the FDI in the for NBFCs, what are the norms and what are the changes made by the government in the FDI for NBFCs. So we were discussing about all that things. Then we have discussed the which were the different sectors or activities, fund-based activities, which is specified in the notification earlier 9 September 2016. On the 9 September 2016, the RBI and Government of India issued a new notification for the FDI norms in the NBFC sector. So, fund based activity and non fund based activities which were permitted before this notification now eliminated, and the 100% FDI is uh, permitted in the NBFC sector now under the other financial services. The capitalization norms we were discussing for fund based activities before this notification, and the capitalization norms for non fund based activities. But after the said notification, 100% FDI is allowed under the automatic route under the head of other financial services with no other restrictions. The it has its comprehensive coverage for the financial activities regulated by financial sector regulators such as RBI, SEBI, IRDA, PFRDA, and NHB. So, all we have discussed in the last lecture, and also we were discussing about impact of RBI notification on FDI in NBFC sectors, and in that we have seen that foreign and venture capitalists can now invest in the Indian lending business or in the NBFCs. Then it will help in the development of the financial market. NBFCs shall be able to provide long-term loan to the infrastructure sector, which is the neglected area, because the long gestation period, due to long gestation period, the return on the investment takes the time, and that's why the private lenders not very enthusiastic to invest in infrastructure sector. But foreign investors now free to invest in these infrastructure sector through FDI route. It has opened the market for large investors. So this is the impact of September 9 2016's notification of Reserve Bank of India, that the 18 specified activities, fund based activities, eliminated by Reserve Bank of India, and non fund based activities which were specified in before that notification now eliminated. And NBA, the foreign direct investment is 100% allowed in the NBFCs. Now let us discuss today the non-banking finance company and foreign loan. So another aspect of the foreign direct investment in the non-banking finance company is the foreign loan, which is governed by the Foreign Exchange Management Act. That is, we called it FEMA, uh, and Foreign Exchange Management Regulation 2000. Foreign Exchange Management Act and the regulation passed by Reserve Bank of India time to time for to control the foreign exchange. We say that the foreign exchange management instead of foreign exchange regulation. So external commercial borrowing. External commercial borrowing, what is that? Are loans which are raised by eligible Indian resident entities from recognized non-resident entities confined to permitted and non-permitted end use, minimum maturity, maximum all-in cost ceiling. So external commercial borrowing means it is the loans which is raised by resident of Indians from the non-residents, means the foreigners, and it is permitted according to the limits and the maturity given, and all the things given in that particular limits. The loans which are raised from the foreign entities called foreign loans or external commercial borrowing. Which are the eligible borrowers to borrow from the as a foreign loans? So entities which are allowed to raise foreign direct investment are available to borrow external commercial borrowing. Entities such as who can borrow, or which are the eligible borrowers to borrow from the foreign countries. The common people or common man cannot borrow from foreign country, because the some uh, external affair policy or international policy of India is such that it do not allow the individual person to borrow from foreign country without the some route specified by the government of India. So which are the eligible borrower which can borrow as a external commercial borrowing? That is, first is port trust, then unit in SEZ, special economic zones, port SIDB, that is Small Industrial Development Bank of India, Exim Bank of India, which supports or advances loan to the foreign trade, import and export, and registered entities engaged in microfinance activities. So these are the eligible borrowers which can borrow from the foreign country as a external commercial borrowing entities. Which are the recognized lenders? It should be a resident of FATF or IOSCO compliant country. So this is the category under which it should be in that particular category, so that he can become for India as a recognized lender. Multilateral and regional financial institutions where India is a member country shall also be as a recognized lender. So multilateral, regional and financial institutions where India is the member, that can be also become a recognized lender. Individual as lender can only be permitted if they are foreign equity holder or for subscription to bond debenture listed abroad. So individual can also become a recognized lender, but they should be a foreign equity holder or for subscription to bond debenture listed abroad. Overseas branches, subsidiaries of Indian banks are permitted as a recognized lender only for FCY, external commercial borrowing, except FCCB and FCEBS. So these are the categories under which the overseas branches and subsidiaries of Indian banks are permitted as a recognized lender. Overseas branches, subsidiaries of Indian banks subject to applicable prudential norms can participate as arranger, underwriter, market makers, traders for rupees denominated bonds issued overseas. So there are some prudential norms, and only they can participate as a arranger, underwriter, market maker, and trader for rupees denominated bond issued overseas. However, underwriting by foreign branches, subsidiaries of Indian banks for issuance by Indian banks will not be allowed. Next is limit and leverage under the automatic route. So up to $750 million or its equivalent as per financial year, it is a limit and leverage under the automatic route. In the case of FCY, denominated external commercial borrowing raised from direct foreign equity holder, ECB liability equity ratio for ECB raised under the automatic route cannot exceed 7 as 1. However, this is not applicable to the limit of loan up to $5 million. So this is the limit and leverage under the automatic route. What is the minimum average maturity period for NBFCs? Particular of that minimum average maturity period for the working capital purpose or general corporate purpose external commercial borrowing, the minimum average maturity period should be 10 years. If NBFC is taking the loan for as a working capital, then the minimum average maturity period will be 10 years. Second thing is, on lending for repayment of rupee loan availed domestically for capital expenditure, the minimum average maturity period is 7 years. On lending for repayment of rupee loan availed domestically, 10 years for the purpose other than capital expenditure. So on lending for repayment of rupee loan availed domestically for purposes other than capital expenditure, the minimum average maturity period is 10 years. So for these three categories, the NBFCs will get the foreign loan, and the minimum average maturity period for these three categories is 10 years, 7 years and 10 years. Now, non-banking finance company can only take a loan for the following purposes. So what are the purposes for which the NBFC can take the loan? First is working capital, repayment of rupee loan for capital expenditure, repayment of rupee loan for other than capital expenditure, and these are the three purposes for which NBFCs can only take a loan as a external commercial borrowing. What is the procedure for taking the external commercial borrowing by non-banking finance company? Before taking a loan registration number, that is called LRN, must be generated from the authorized dealer with all the supporting documents. Second is, authorized dealer takes the time of 7 days to generate the loan registration number. Only after creating the loan registration number, the amount of loan can be credited in the bank account. Monthly return in the form of external commercial borrowing 2 shall be filed with Reserve Bank of India through AD Bank. So this is the procedure for the NBFCs to take the external commercial borrowing. Now in the conclusion remark, we can say that allowing 100% FDI in NBFC sector is a game changer for the Indian economy, as it helps the sector in growing at a large scale and helps in making this sector a great contributor to economic growth. So capital is the key factor in every economy. So capital creates all the things, employment, production, and boost to the growth of the economy. So the 100% FDI in NBFC sector can be a game changer for the Indian economy, because the neglected area by the bank, which is covered by the NBFCs, and NBFCs getting foreign loan and foreign FDI investment. So the where the bank is not available to finance that particular sector in the economy, where in their NBFC is working and NBFC is allowed FDI. Non-banking finance company contribution is higher than any other sector in the economic growth. Then foreign direct investment has improved the capital inflow of the NBFC sector, so that NBFCs can invest in large project or meet the daily needs of the businesses. So NBFCs are the institutions which provide the investment for large projects, and it provides the finance to meet the daily needs of the businesses. So the foreign direct investment has improved the capital inflow in the NBFC sector. Foreign direct investment has also helped in removing the domestic monopolies which were held by the large investors, and it has given an advantage to the NBFCs in the competitive market. So foreign direct investment has also helped in removing the domestic monopolies which were held by the large investors. So now through the FDI, NBFCs get the advantage of the competitiveness in the market. It can be rightly said that FDI in NBFC sector has become the backbone for the non-banking finance companies and help them in achieving their vision and objectives efficiently. So allowing the 100% FDI, the NBFC sector became the FDI became the backbone of the NBFC sector. So because of the large investment by the foreigners in the NBFCs, it helped the NBFCs to achieve their vision and objectives efficiently. So friend, that much in this today's lecture. Write your name and roll number in the comment box, and if you get any problems to understanding, then write to me, and you can call me and you can message me. Thank you. See you in the next lecture.